Hi, this is Catherine Dubberly, the Answer Lady. I love knitting cables no matter what tools I'm using. Today let's look at working some cables on the all-in-one board, or a board that is structured very much like that, in this case a Design Accents loom. Let's look at making some cables on the all-in-one or a similar loom. This loom is actually a Decor Accents loom that is no longer made, but it's quite similar to the all-in-one, and there are several like it. Here is my pattern. Knit 3, purl 1, knit 4, purl 1, knit 3. However, you saw me slip this first stitch, which I'll do on every row. So we're ready for our purl stitch. These are the 4 that will eventually be cabled, and I'm not actually going to do it on this row because I'm going to show you why what I've got going on is a problem. They'll be really difficult to cable. I'm using the U-stitch, which is just a plain knit stitch really, but I give a little extra pull as I go over the top to make the yarn form a U around the peg. That stitch is my favorite, but it is too tight for good cabling. Watch what happens. If I lift this stitch and this one off, and I hold them on that tool, I need to lift this stitch off and pull it over here, and it goes. And then this one and pull it over here. But now we're getting really too tight. It's going to be hard on the loom and hard on me and hard on the yarn. So next row I'll show you how to make a little bit of room. We'll put these stitches back where they belong. We'll start our row in the normal way. Slip the first stitch. Knit the next 2. So there's our knit 3. Purl 1, and now those stitches that will be cabled, they need to be a little bigger. So let's E-wrap them instead of doing the U-stitch or the flat stitch. E-wrap, of course, takes a little more yarn. There they all 4 are E-wrapped. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're ready for our purl. The function of a purl stitch on either side of the cable is simply to set it off, because it creates a dip in the background of the stockinette. The cable is more pronounced because of it. These are the 4 stitches to be cabled, and they should now be large enough to cable easily. I'm going to move them over. Watch what's happening. They're twisted, but I'm going to let them untwist. See it growing in length? Now these 2 will be moved to the 2 pegs that the first 2 came off of. The right 2 stitches are going on the left 2 pegs, untwisting the E-wrap as I go. That creates enough length that you can see I'm no longer under much stress. Not me, not the loom, not the yarn. This one goes all the way to the right. This is called a 2 over 2 cable. 2 stitches are crossing over 2 stitches. And there you go. Easy peasy. Now these are a little bit snug, but it won't be difficult to knit them back the next row. If it is too difficult, you need to adjust the tension at which you're knitting. There we go. Knit, knit, having slipped the first one. Purl. And these will be knitted normally with my U-stitch knitting method. And see how nicely they go? No problem at all. You can also work 1 over 1 cables, which are smaller and much less work, and sometimes those don't require you to adjust the stitch size. Technically, up to 3/3 cables are possible, but they are more difficult on a loom. Let's do one more cable cross to make sure you feel comfortable with it. I've already knitted my row. These center stitches are already E-wrapped, so they'll be long enough to cross. There's 3 knits in my purl, and these are the ones that are going to be crossed. Last time I did it right over left, so that these stitches that started on the right were settled on the left-hand peg first. It can go the other way, so let's do it the other way. Now make sure that you are consistent within your project. For a cable to have the nice twisted rope look that most of us are looking for, it needs to go the same way every time. So right over left is fine, left over right is fine, but don't alternate unless that's the look you want, which changes things substantially. It can be a design feature. Okay. There are the first 2 left-hand stitches settled on the right 2 pegs. Now this one goes all the way to the left. Oops, it's not all the way untwisted, and you saw the stress that caused. There we go. And this one goes on the other left-hand peg. And our cross is complete. There's a good look at it. And down here we're getting to have enough fabric you can see the cable crosses developing.